Let's move away from the weather now to an official welcome for thousands of people who fled the Chinese crackdown in Hong Kong. They're British overseas nationals who've now moved to the East Midlands. Tonight, how our region is piloting a scheme to help them fill nursing vacancies, and also growing concerns about finding school places for these new arrivals. Well, our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball is at the very fabulous looking Nottingham's Council House. Looks very busy there. Good evening to you, Jeremy.
Yeah, good evening, Anne. We've just had a traditional Nottingham welcome below that statue of Robin Hood, but just a little bit different tonight. It's been simultaneously translated into Cantonese, and this is really one of this region's biggest immigration stories. Well over 3,000 people from Hong Kong have moved here to the East Midlands, the vast majority settling in and around Nottingham, and that's just since the start of last year. So raising some really big questions about their future here, about the impact it's going to have as this community puts down roots right across the East Midlands. A laugh, a smile, familiar faces. The weekly Hong Kong drop-in session at Derby's Renew Cafe. But this is so much more than just socialising. It's about settling into a new way of life.
The Renew Cafe is a safe place for people to drop in, and it's about the mental health because actually most of the people coming here, actually they have broken heart and they have homesick and they are very difficult to adopt in this country.
They came to this country because of this crackdown by the Chinese government in a former British colony where people with British national overseas passports can now resettle here.
We are afraid of loss of the freedom. We cannot speak some opinions that opposite to the government, and also the education system. It will be change, and the history will be destroyed.
But imagine how tough it is to start all over again. Wendy's just moved to Chellaston, and this is how she's dealing with the stress.
It's terrible. You have to leave your family and place that you're familiar with and your job and everything. But I will start a new life here, and I have nice neighborhoods and the people are really nice. Yes, and I feel welcome, and I will make this my home now.
It's over a year since the Youngs made West Bridgford their new home. Now Kelly started training as an NHS healthcare assistant, and other new arrivals will soon be helping to tackle a nursing shortage.
We're going to help 20 Hong Kong nurses to pass what we call the OET test, which is an English test that they need to pass to qualify to be a nurse in this country. They're really struggling at the moment in NHS, especially in Nottingham. So anything that we can do to help. So it's a pilot scheme, but we think that this has got massive potential.
And back in Derby, Sharon's thinking about her future too.
Integration is very important for Hong Kongers because we don't want to build up a Hong Kong city in this country. We want to integrate in the local culture, local society, and also make friends with the locals here. I'm trying to be a driving instructor, yeah, so that I take the test, I take revision and practice my driving.
Leaving their old lives behind and picking up the pieces here was never going to be easy, but Derby already looks like home. Now up the road here in Nottingham, there's a lot of support too. There were already things like Chinese food shops here. That seems to have been a bit of a draw. And then word seems to have got back that people rather like living here. And it is helping to tackle skill shortages. A lot of these people are well qualified. Obviously, though, it's creating some pressures too. And to hear more on that, let's talk to Councillor Tracy Taylor, who's responsible for education in Nottinghamshire. Tracy, a lot of families needing school places, and you can't predict the numbers, so it must be very challenging.
It is challenging at the moment. We've had, if I give you an example, over 500 new applications for primary places in the county area already. If a new school were to be 210 places, that tells you that's more than 2 new schools I need. And under normal circumstances, I don't deliver a new school in 6 months.
It is challenging. How do you tackle that?
We speak to partners, we work with the academies, we make sure that the building programme we've got for bringing new schools forward is really working well and hard for us. I've got 3 new schools coming online in September this year, and we just make sure that we build that capacity so that the places are available where they're needed.
Very briefly, we heard Sharon Sheck there talking about integration. How important is that?
Incredibly important. If you think the children will be coming into our schools, it's perhaps a little bit easier for them because they'll have friends and they'll grow through their lives here. We need the support systems that will help their families, their parents, and we have that with our partners in events like this one.
Councillor Tracy Taylor, many thanks. And we could see a lot more arrivals from Hong Kong because that BNO visa scheme is going to be extended to people who were born after the British handover. That's just been announced, and the Home Secretary said that's because we've got a historic and moral commitment to Hong Kong.
Jeremy, thank you very much indeed.